Hi, my name is Lee Yu, and I'm the youngest of 3 boys and 3 girls. I was born and raised in South Korea, but my parents are Chinese. My dad was born and raised in China during Civil War in China. At age 15, he took refuge to North Korea, and shortly after, North and South Korea also started out its own civil war. And refusing to be under the ruling of communists, my dad decided to take refuge once again to South Korea. When my father moved to South Korea is when he met my mom and got married and began a family. Neither of my parents had much education. My dad, due to grew up during the wartime, and my mom coming from a poor family. Our family moved to America when I was 13 years old. For the first good 4 or 5 years, I couldn't understand anybody. I had no friends. I stopped participating in sports, which I really enjoyed, back in Korea, and after, and on top of that, everybody looked alike to me. I felt like my life kind of stopped, for a while there, and I was just bored out of my mind. And at age 13, I decided that I wanted to ask my dad if I can work in a restaurant as a dishwasher, and shortly after that, about 2 or 3 years later, our family opened up our own restaurant, and from that point on, our entire family was working the family business. What started out as me wanting to work at a restaurant because I was bored ended up being my 22-year career. I was 21 years of age when I first got married. Our marriage lasted about 3 years. At the time, there were a lot of issues in our relationship that we just simply did not know how to deal with and handle. I guess we were just, a set of kids trying to raise kids. One of the good things that did come out of our marriage is my 2 beautiful daughters, Chaslyn and Jade. I met Sarah a couple of years after our divorce, about 14 years ago, and it took me a little over a year before I introduced her to my daughters, and a little over 7 years before I finally proposed to her. So, talking about having patience, she's a very patient person. After 7 years, just couldn't actually hold it off anymore, and finally proposed, and it's the best decision I've ever made. After about 18 years of being with my family, running the restaurant, they decided they were going to close down the restaurant and relocate to a different location. And by then I was just so exhausted with just a family restaurant. And basically, although I was working hard with no plans for future, because I kind of felt like, well, I'm just going to be working for my family, and this is my destiny, and I'm just not really going to think about it. So the result of that was I was just working hard, but I was also partying hard. Just going out, spend my money, hard-earned money, carelessly, drinking, getting out, hanging out with friends all the time. Just no direction or plans, in life until I would say approximately about when I was when I was in my early 30s, is when I kind of start feeling like, this is going nowhere, and I need to do something about it. And I kind of felt like that's when I started to mature up a little bit. Growing up, I was never really exposed to Christ at all, and although my parents weren't really religious by any means, if anything, they were more adapted to the Buddhism, the Buddhist belief, versus the Christianity. And to me, church was this very scary place. I think a lot of it had to do with just knowing that if I decide to go to church, I would have to change my ways, and I would have to hold myself accountable for a lot of the things that I was, that I would do, and I wasn't sure if I was ready for that or not. I think my wife was more at the time, wanting to go to church, But nonetheless, neither of us was really actively seeking at the time. And coming to the church came through a couple of friends of ours, who actually brought it up, and we were the statistics that Pastor always talks about, the 82%. If you were to just reach out and invite people, 82% of people would just be willing to go to church, and that's where we were at the time. Again, we weren't actively looking, but we knew we needed something in our lives, and by somebody reaching out and invite us to the church is how we came about going to the church. I believe every aspect of my life has been enhanced by coming to the church. My relationship with God, how to be a better husband, a father, a son, a brother, a friend, and just a person in general. I also feel blessed knowing that I'm no longer alone, that I don't have to tackle the world on my own, that I have God on my side, watching over me and guide me through some of the challenges that I faced. I know I still have a lot of room to improve on, but was trusting in God. At least I know I'm heading in the right direction. My name is Lee Yu, and my story is his story. 再见。